Hey, good morning. It's time to go surfing. As you can see, it's pretty crowded there on the inside, and it's the weekend. So I'm gonna go out to this outside break where nobody is. So for the past 6 weeks or so, we've had an upwelling from the south, and the water's felt very nice getting in it. It's kind of cold at first, probably in the 70s, when the air temperature's in the 90s. But I think that south upwelling is making the waves break farther down the beach. They normally are really good right where I'm at. So yeah, lately they've been kind of small and farther down the beach. So it's been nice to be able to paddle into these, kind of unbreaking waves farther offshore, away from the crowd, and get a lot of rides and a lot of practice. I'm filming from a jetty, so the jetty kind of protects some of that south swell from getting here to the normal breaking spot. Back in the year 2008 or 2009 is when I bought my first stand-up paddleboard. It was a 11-foot 6-inch Riviera stand-up board that was 31 inches wide and weighed 32 pounds. And back then, that was kind of the standard size. They had just started making production boards maybe a couple years earlier, so that was pretty normal. Fast forward 14, 15 years later, stand-up paddleboards are a lot lower in volume and shorter in length. So the 11.6 board I had would be considered huge. Now the board I'm riding, and most people are riding these days, are 6.5 to 7.5 feet on average. So this one I made about a year and a half ago is 6 feet 8 inches long. And for me, it's kind of hard to stand on when I'm not moving. Today's a little bit of an exception because it's pretty calm and glassy, but on most days when there's wind, I got to paddle back out on my stomach. So the next board I'm going to make is going to be longer and have a little more volume, so I could actually stand up and paddle it for longer distances without getting fatigued. And also to be able to have the opportunity to catch even more waves earlier and easier. Kooking out. A little bit of a glitch. I think the paddle ins are just as interesting as the wave riding, because look at that wave I just paddled into. There was like nothing there. That's one of the great things about the SUP board, is that you could catch waves that you normally could not. And it allows you to go surfing in places that other surfers cannot. Summertime here in Texas. Really enjoying it. I'm using a 1300 centimeter foil on this day, which was pretty good. It's my biggest foil I'll use, but I was getting a little overpowered on my cutbacks and bottom turns at times. So would have been nice on the 1150, but I just wanted to be able to, maybe paddle into more waves with a bigger foil, into these waves outside. They're kind of not really breaking, just kind of standing up for a minute. I also chose the 1300 over my 1150 because the 1300 pumps way better and takes way less effort compared to the 1150. The 1150 does pump very well and very fast, but just kind of burns up a little bit too much energy. And I was just wanting to pump far and stay on foil for as long as possible. Look at that wave. There was nothing there. Do you think you could have caught it on like a 7 to 8 foot prone board? Maybe so. Maybe so. Hit a bait ball right there. There was a lot of fish in the water, a lot of birds out feeding. Yep, the leverage of the paddle, being able to get into waves you couldn't. It's so good. Just gives you more riding days, more opportunity. I just usually ride what is best for the current conditions. I really enjoy prone foiling, but I didn't want to ride my prone board inside with 50 other people around. So, man, being able to get on this stand-up board, go to the outside break where no one is, and just have a fun time hooting and hollering, saying funny stuff. It literally felt like I was surfing alone out there. Catch a ride, pop out before I even got close to the surfers. Good times, good times. I'm using a quick blade carbon fiber stand-up paddle that I've had for well over a decade. High quality product, but its length is as tall as I am, 6 feet 4 inches. And with surfing, paddling into waves, you typically want a shorter paddle. So something as tall as you or shorter. If you're doing like flat water stuff or racing, you might want a little bit longer paddle. I was actually going to cut my paddle before I got into downwind stand-up foiling, but I'm glad I didn't because it helps out whenever you have to paddle pump. You don't have to reach as far down and bend over to kind of get that blade submerged in the water. So there's a little tip for you. If you're thinking about getting into stand-up paddleboarding and not sure what size paddle you need, go ahead and buy a quality paddle because it'll last longer. And that applies to everything else too. You buy a quality product, it's going to perform better, it's going to last longer, etc., etc. So buy a good board, and especially buy a good foil. If you're getting into foiling, don't buy some foil that's 3 or 4 years old, because the technology and performance of foil has increased exponentially in that amount of time. So the old gear just is harder to use. Buy a fresh setup. Okay, that's a wrap. Another great day in the water. Hey, if you guys made it this far, I really appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. If you got any questions, just comment down below. Be glad to answer them.
Boys, another great track with the solo shot. Stand-up paddleboard foiling in the waves. Way outside, away from the surfers. Life is good. Is this real life? This is freaking amazing out there. Holy cow.
Take care. Have a great day, and we'll see you later.